Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 12th of June 2018, and this is John once again broadcasting from Melbourne. For some of us who are all around the world, you may be in the early morning, you may be in the afternoon or in the evening. Let me greet you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are in winter at this time, and I'm looking outside. We do have the sun, but the rain clouds are forming. And we are going to enjoy 2 days of cold, wet winter. The forecast is that today and tomorrow would be wet and would be cool. Well, that is the environment around us here in Melbourne. I want to talk about the broadcast leads, or rather the broadcasters' leads that has been posted in the blog by admin. Yesterday, admin has put up this post that the broadcaster leads that admin has made available to all those who are broadcasters has been really a major hit for the broadcasters. Yes, every one of us who are broadcasters and every one of us who have our broadcasts approved, we have received leads from the admin. And who are these leads? Admin remind us that there are about 3 million members in TBC who have paid their $10 admin fees, but who have not yet purchased the $100 mandatory purchase for the coins. Now, if you have not yet done so, you are robbing yourself because until the 15th of June, all $100 purchase are entitled to a billion worth of gold grains. Now, this is in accordance with the previous agreement. But after the 15th of June, any purchase of $100 will not be entitled to a billion grains of gold anymore. You would only be entitled to a million grains of gold. Now, it is for this purpose that admin wants the early members who have forgotten to purchase the $100 worth of coins to not lose out. But admin has given us that advantage and the leeway and even extended the cut-off date till the 15th of June. And admin had emphatically mentioned that this is a firm cut-off date. There will be no further extension whatsoever under any condition. All right. Now, according to the blog that came out yesterday, there have been very good feedbacks that as the broadcasters or the leaders reach out to the people, there have been reports that there has been a lot of people who are responding and who have come back and made that mandatory purchase of $100. That means it's telling us all broadcasters should note that the leads that they get are exclusive. Yes, not everyone is going to get the leads. Not everyone is going to benefit. Not everyone is going to be offered this platter of opportunities where these are warm contacts, meaning to say that these are members of TBC who have already paid their $10 admin fee and who are entitled and qualified to migrate and also entitled to qualify to withdraw or to utilize their cookies reward. So in particular, the broadcasters are the only ones who would be entitled, who would be privileged to get the names and the contact information of the members that they have been assigned to as leads. Now, just imagine this is a privilege. Let us take advantage of this privilege. It is only to a handful or to a small number of broadcasters that this information of much value is distributed and allocated to us. That means you and I, who are broadcasters, we who have received the leads, we have a big responsibility. Now, this responsibility is to help, to educate, to encourage, to lead our fellow members who have missed out on the purchase of that $100 value of coins to do so before the final cut-off date. If we fail and the lead that has been given to us is not then to their disadvantage, these members will remain unaware that the time is short to migrate now, and they will lose all their coins in the old wallets. So let me recap again. The TBC old wallet of TBC004 contains TBC coins which are based on the value of the euro dollar. But the new wallet of TBC009, which has been reprogrammed, redesigned, comes with the Kringle coins, which are valued in gold grains. So they are coming in two different denominations. The first TBC004 wallet has the value in euro dollars. The new wallet 009 has the value based on grains of gold. So these two currencies are not interrelated and they cannot be uh, exchanged. So they are different currencies altogether. So when you migrate or any member migrate, the value of coins, so the number of coins or cookies that they have in the 004 wallet would be transferred over to the new wallet, TBC009 wallet, for the same value, but in terms of grains of gold. So it would be in kringles and no more in TBC coins. So this is what is going to take place. If any member who does not migrate, and if they are stuck in the old wallet, all their coins in the old wallet will be unavailable to them forever. It would be final. In the blog, admin mentioned that they have done their part with a full 1 year notice on the website and the blog post that we will migrate. And those that don't migrate will lose their coins. Again, as I have just mentioned a little while earlier, anyone who does not migrate will lose your coins. So the purpose of this LEADS program is the final trust, is the final effort. It is the last effort that admin is making and using broadcasters to reach out to all members. Admin on their own cannot be reaching out to every single member. Of course, they can send out emails, but they cannot do the individual follow-up. Admin is too busy. So therefore, admin has delegated this important task, this important push to the leaders and also to the broadcasters. Frankly, it means says the principle of personal responsibility applies here, and each member should take care of their own accounts, and each member should not rely on others to babysit them. However, admin has the goodwill, well-being of every member in their hearts. And admin, out of love of our broadcaster and admin itself, we are making the last effort of reaching out to them through the leads that they get. So this is what is happening now. Collectively, admin and the broadcasters are making a last minute effort to bring up to steam the other members so that they would not move, they would not lose out permanently. They will not lose out once and for all. If anything needs to be attended to, this is the time. This is the time for you to attend to whatever that you have not got up to date. This is a time when you need to upgrade and to migrate. And you have not yet purchased a $10 mandatory coin, this is the time to do so before the 15th of June. I mean, also remind us who are broadcasters that admin is using a blanket approach to all verified members and included them as leads. So even great leaders and extremely active are leads too. So in other words, what we have discovered also is that we have seen the names of extremely active members included in the list that we have got. And some of them are great members. Some of them already hold hundreds and thousands of coins in hand, but they are also included in the list. So as a reminder to the broadcaster who received this list, admin is saying we don't want to make any assumption on how to filter out the active members because many would fall into cracks and not be contacted because a database filter would catch some that are actually unaware and also seem to be active now when they are not. So in other words, admin is saying it is not taking any chance. Though the record and the data in the back office show that these people may seem to be active members, may seem to have many coins in their account. But admin is saying to us that even though they may be so, admin wants to ensure that no man is left behind. No member is left behind in this exercise of migration. So that is why the admin is using the blanket approach to make sure that all members are informed. So the purpose of the blog that was out yesterday is admin is reminding and updating us that all of us who are doing the approach must approach every single one in the list. Now coming back to who are the broadcasters and their privileges. To start off with, broadcasters are not appointed. Broadcasters are volunteers in the TBC community and family. Broadcasters, they were not trained, but they are self-trained, and along the way, some helpful and kind leaders, they have put up videos, teaching videos, guiding videos to show us how to set up a broadcast, where to set up a broadcast, how to run a broadcast. And we are seeing that right now we have several number of broadcasters already actively doing broadcasts on a daily basis. So even a new member who signed up for TBC, who have bought their $10 admin, or paid their $10 admin fees and bought $100 worth of coins, you are entitled to become a broadcaster. All you have to do is go to YouTube, open an account, and do the live streaming. So some of us are more equipped. That means some of us who are habitually trainers and teachers, we are more affluent with our language. And some of us are IT savvy. That means to say we know how to go online, we know how to work on the internet. So it doesn't matter whether you are a new TBC member or a old TBC member. Every one of us have the ability. We can become broadcasters as long as we have a will, we are willing to start, we are willing to take the first step. We may not be able to do a good broadcast the first time, second time, third time, but I can guarantee you that by the time you do the fifth and over and more, you will be very at home in doing broadcasts. This is my personal testimony. When I first started, the first three, four broadcasts were a failure. I did only a few minutes and I ran out of steam. And I was stammering and I was jittery, but now I have more confidence in doing the broadcast. We all have the ability. Practice is the mother of success. Practice though we may be learning, as though we may be learning to walk. Those of us who have brought up children, who have taught children, would see that even as little babies, they learn to crawl, then they learn to stand up, then they learn to walk, they learn to stumble, and practice makes perfect. Very soon, a young child will be able to learn to walk, and a young child will be able to be efficient in walking and running. The same principle applies. Now, the lead generation that has been given to us is a full documented list, as I mentioned earlier. Uh, there has not been any filter, and there are a mixture of mature and young members. But according to the record of BBC, a lot of members have not purchased the $100 yet. This may be because there is a lack of understanding of how the TBC program works, or they may not understand the operating of the TBC economy, or they may be waiting for someone to come and help to lead them along. They may have signed up through some advertisement on the social media, or they might have signed up through a leader who has left, or to a leader who has been too busy to give them personal directions and leading. So it can be one or the other of many, many reasons. Or sometimes it is just that a member finds it difficult to understand and comprehend what is written. But if the leader were to guide the members towards viewing the blogs, towards watching the teaching videos, This would surely help the young members to grow and to be able to enhance and to develop his membership. Now, the purpose of broadcasting is to educate and to train. And for those who desire to do broadcasts and say that, well, I do not know very much about TBC to do a broadcast. I mean, it's encouraging those would-be broadcaster that doing a broadcast is not difficult. It only is as simple as reading the blog online, which most of the time the voice of TBC, Randy Wilson, and other leaders are also doing. So let's take this bold step of doing a broadcast. And after doing your broadcast, there is the reward that is waiting for you. You would receive 1 million cookies if your broadcast is approved. So when you have finished your broadcast, copy the link, the YouTube link, paste it onto the cookie reward space at the back office, and admin will take a look at the video that you have done, and then admin will either approve or not approve the broadcast that we have done. Once it has been approved, then we would be able to see the 1 million cookies in our back office. Now, broadcasters are the main supporters of TBC. They are also trainers because when they do the broadcast, they deliver value, they deliver knowledge, they deliver tools, they deliver systems, they deliver ways, or they deliver experience that they have each developed. So as we see the daily broadcast of the voice of TBC, now Randy Wilson has incorporated at least 5 or 6 other leaders who do join broadcast with him. In the last 2 days, we have seen that um, admin has already hinted to us that there are many more new scopes or ideas that admin has up his sleeve. And this morning, I looked at the broadcast by Randy Wilson, and he brought this up, the idea or the concept of having a, a system that would replicate the effects of the mythical creature known as the Hydra. The Hydra, as we know, in Greek mythology, is a creature like a dragon or a snake with multiple heads and has multiple destructive power. And in the stories of the Greek mythology, you will see the hero coming to battle the Hydra for maybe a beautiful princess who has been captured, or to battle the Hydra for a huge treasure. Now, what we saw in the mythological movies and stories is when one head is cut, one Hydra head is cut, 2 more heads will grow in its place. So, in other words, it propagates very fast. If the Hydra has 10 heads and you cut off all the 10 heads, it becomes 20 heads. And it just grows geometrical progression. So, what is admin trying to say to us? Admin is trying to say that when we have multiple prongs of broadcasting, when we have multiple prongs of leadership, when we have multiple prongs of, of tools and equipments that are being uh, propagated and distributed to the mass of TBC family, it is then going to develop to become a very powerful symbol uh, like that of a hydra. And TBC will be difficult to defeat. So this is a concept. We are not saying that TBC is a hydra, but it is a concept and a principle that when we are multifaceted, when we are multi talented, we become a force of reckoning in the global economy. So now is the time. Admin tells us now is the time to train, to build, to create a symbolic Hydra community, which means to say we have many heads, we have many trainers, we have many teachers, we have many administrators who would be able to build the TBC community and diverse the TBC community worldwide. So admin will come up with that strategy to create a TBC Hydra, which would in turn prove to be very powerful, very stable, very effective, and very potent. That means it will strike, it will be very, very effective. It will strike fast and it will be very effective fast. Once we have established this concept of the Hydra syndrome, then it will become very difficult for the enemies of TBC, those trolls, those powers that be, the powers of darkness outside in the world, as they try to destroy the economy of TBC. United we stand, divided we fall. So when we are united as a global community of TBC, we would be able to stand. Now these, the enemies of TBC, the trolls, the elites, and the power of darkness, they will not be able to actually pin down who the leaders are, as we would have then tens of thousands of broadcasters worldwide. We would have leaders worldwide who are doing trading on the ground, like what we are seeing in some countries right now, in PNG, in India, in Africa, and in the even the West as well. All these broadcasters and leaders from all over, we are chipping in, we are doing whatever is possible. Truly difficult to put a finger on which head of the Hydra is the main head. We will continue to grow, and all leaders would be equal in standing. All leaders would be equal in knowledge. All leaders will be equal in effectiveness all over the world. And the beautiful part is all the leaders will operate in their own tongue, in their own culture, in their own home, and in their own home countries. So to truly identify where the leaders are would become a very difficult task. Why is it so important that admin is trying to create this Hydra effect in TBC? Let's look around. Do you know how Bitcoin had survived over the years? When Bitcoin came into the market 10 years ago, there were a lot of naysayers. There were a lot of people who tried to undermine it, to try to destroy it. But the strategy that Bitcoin had implemented was they hosted the blockchain on many servers in the world. And no matter how hard The trolls, the enemies of Bitcoin, try to hack and to bring down Bitcoin. They could not do it because Bitcoin had the wisdom to post to anchor their blockchains on many servers throughout the world. Similarly, it is important that TBC broadcasters and leaders step up and today and to do broadcasts. And TBC has already started on this road of using many global servers to host the TBC program. So this will decentralize the headquarters, this will decentralize the leadership globally. And the powers of the elites who are also globalists and who wants to bring down TBC, they would find it very difficult to do so because when one head is cut off, two other heads will come up. So what does this mean? This can only mean that TBC community will grow and will become stronger and stronger. We would train, we would build more and more leadership in the broadcast format. And many of us in the broadcasting program will become skilled and we would be a force to reckon with, and we must be able to overcome our enemies. TBC need more broadcasters to build the Hydra. So we need to develop the Hydra. The blog will lead and will give instructions to propagate the establishment of the Hydra syndrome or the Hydra effect. Admin will also announce TBC will be shifting from a leadership of position to a leadership of meritocracy. In other words, admin will be talent scouting. Admin will be headhunting for able leaders and people who are achievers. Members who have made significant achievements will be recognized as decentralized leaders. Some may be in the category of broadcasters, some may be in the category of recruiters, and this is how BBC would classify meritocracy. And they would identify and highlight people who have achieved and is achieving outstanding results. Admin wants to open the scope to many more leaders and many more opportunities, just like the Hydra effect. Therefore, in the days ahead, in the months ahead, we are going to see the evolvement of a TBC organization solely based on merit, solely based on objectives that will be given by admin. And once we have moved into this path, then it will be very difficult for attack from any entity that will want to do us harm. So here we are. If you are not yet a leader, do not worry long because the leadership platform is open to everyone who aspires to be one. If you have any question, if you want to open a dialogue, you are most welcome to contact me in the chat room. Thank you and bye for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.